built-in puns on this panel. I'm DJ Ichabod, also known as John, also known as the Assistant Director of the Horror Track here at DragonCon, and on behalf of our frightfully fun sponsors at Netherworld Haunted House, pardon me, I welcome you all to something I've been looking forward to all year. Why? Because it finally happened. The inside joke that we've been tossing around at the Horror Track ever since Sleepy Hollow first aired has come to pass. Ichabod versus Ichabod. This is great. We're not actually going to fight. I don't want to lose in front of this many people. But anyway, I'll have you know that I almost grew some facial hair and did the period costuming just for the visual pun. But anyway, you are here to meet the stars, the actual stars of Sleepy Hollow. So let me get to the introduction here. Nicole is running a little bit late, so she's going to join us in progress. So I'm going to bring out Mr. Ichabod Crane himself, Mr. Tom Mison.
Sorry, I'm not Nicole, but she will be here soon. And then you can scream even louder. Ichabod?
All right, Ichabod. I got it. Priceless. All right. We're going to be doing a lot of Q&A, of course, so we've got some mics, if I can see, yes, right here in the middle, if you want to line up there. If you have questions, anytime, right now.
There's so many of you. This is so nice.
Please no flash photography out there, guys, and no questions involving, coming up here, tackling or hugging, anything like that. So yeah, let's just lay off that. I'll be available for hugs later.
Looks like he's squeezing.
Use one. Okay, I'll throw out the first pitch. By asking what your initial relationship with the original Legend of Sleepy Hollow story was, and how you felt about tackling a series that's based on a story that's so beloved and familiar to so many, at least around here, and especially around Halloween time. Mm-hmm. And what was your first introduction to that legend?
I'd read it quite a long time ago, around the time that the Johnny Depp Tim Burton film came out, which is one of my favorites of their collaboration. And I remember reading it then and then kind of forgot about it until I saw this amazing script for the pilot. And then I read it again, and yay! And then last year I did an audio book of it. One of you has listened to it, thank you. Even though it's free, thanks guys. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say it because it's a classic, but I struggle with it. I struggle with the book because there's a lot of lists. It's Ichabod kind of riding around town, and there's a list of the various types of corn that he sees in the field. Then he goes to the Van Tassel's house, and there's a list of what food they have there. And so when I heard that was going to be turned into a series, How? Just 13 hours of me with a list, which no one needs. What was the question? It's great. It's a great book, and I don't know if I mentioned I did an audio version.
I will let us take an audience question here, so let's get that first one.
Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry. I was just wondering, what part of history would you like to see come to the show that you haven't already seen?
Oh, wow. Well, I'd really like to see some of the other people who were knocking around in England at the time. and have them not be a demon, which seems to be the theme. Like, it was amazing. Having Benjamin Franklin, that was my favourite, and Tim Busfield was, I think you'll agree, just brilliant. And when Franklin travelled over to Europe and stayed in London and became very good friends with Samuel Johnson, who wrote the first dictionary, and went and hung out in Paris and was very, very
Mison
debauched in
added
Paris.
again.
He was a filthy, filthy man. You'll probably notice by the way Tim looked at Abby during, and so I'd like to see that. I'd like to see imagine if Ichabod had joined him over in the debauched land of Paris and London. And, you know, theatrical orgies, the usual.
That's Tom.
Okay.
All right, well, first, I love the show, and I'm so psyched that you're here in Georgia filming it.
Thank you very much.
I love your chemistry with Nicole, it's awesome. This is not a question about the show. So, it's sort of. Okay, since you're British, I don't want you to get embarrassed or anything.
Too late.
He's so cool.
My family actually arrived here in this country in 1600s in New York, which is interesting. So I love that whole thing in the show.
Wow.
But they were English, so lots of embarrassment. Have you ever been referred to before as super hot Jesus? Oh, and by the way, wait, because you have now, and, so yeah.
Who was that aimed at?
Lots of potential roles.
Thank you very much.
Hi there. I want to welcome you, and unfortunately I can't welcome her yet, your wonderful co-star. Thank you both for coming to Dragon Con. We've been loving your show a lot.
Thanks.
I wanted to know about the OnStar scene. What was the genesis of that, and how
Love
many takes
that.
did it take?
I loved that. That's still one of my favourite moments. That was Damien Kindler wrote that, and it was Ken Olin was directing it, and he just I'd hear him. He'd be sitting back behind the monitor watching it, and I'd have the window down, and I'd just hear after every take him going, "Ugh, he's so British," which I think was a good thing. I don't know. I really liked that scene. I quite wanted Yolanda, that was her name. I quite wanted Yolanda to become a recurring feature, a bit like Ziggy in Quantum Leap. But maybe this year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
He's so cute.
Oh, hello.
Hey. So, a question about the
That's
finale
Lisa.
and the things that happened and that Ichabod did, which would seem to me to be quite something that would not fit with his sense of himself and sort of man that he is.
Lisa.
Right.
I'm just curious if that's correct in your view, and how is he dealing with that in the new season?
With the death of...
Well, yes, and what he did, and you know, how that makes him sort of maybe a little bit different than he might have thought he was. That's a very
How
vague
does it
question.
affect him that he ambiguously may or may not have killed his
Exactly.
own wife?
Exactly.
It's not really dealt with.
Fair enough. All right, thank you.
It's something that hangs over him, of course, and because you know Abby and Ichabod both did something quite big then, and there's the struggle of course, it's his wife and his son, and he loved her so much, but she turned into a bit. I nearly swore, but I did not. She turned bad. So there's finding that balance of We had to do that to save the world, but she kind of was my wife. Yeah, that's played around with in quite a nice way. Thanks.
Hello.
Super hot Jesus.
Okay. Anyway, I know you...
I'm gonna text my mum.
Okay.
Hi.
Since you shoot your series in North Carolina,
Not
did
anymore.
anybody ever...
We did.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
you did.
Right
Yeah.
here in the good city of Atlanta, Georgia.
Well,
Try
okay,
Daddy D's barbecue.
The first two seasons anyway, did you ever hear of any of the legends associated with North Carolina, like the Devil's Trampling Ground?
Oh yes,
Or-
I have. I was in fact sent a book with lots of North Carolina's mysteries and ghost stories.
Yeah, maybe it should be a plot of in the next season.
I'll take
Yeah.
the book, entirely plagiarize it, and then blame someone else.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Thanks very much.
Hi.
Hi.
My question for you is for Tom Mison, the actor, not for Ichabod.
Thank
When
you.
you auditioned for your role as Ichabod, is it any different than what you do now on TV?
Oh, good question. It kind of was there. It was one of those parts that you really like to read because on the page the character is kind of
How
there.
much is your own style, though? What you do with your hands, just the little.
Oh.
Your business is as an actor.
That came afterwards. In the audition, I think it was a lot stiller. And thank you. And that was after a lot of thought about how Ichabod deals with certain things and the difference between Ichabod in the past and Ichabod in the present. No, in fact, I saw. It's the only time I've seen an audition of mine, and it was the screen test I did with Nicole. And a lot of it is kind of there. Some bits were toned down and some bits were toned back up. Do you just want to know about the hands? No, that came later.
Okay, I also want to say, like, thank you so much for moving the filming here to Atlanta.
I accept full credit.
But I wanted to ask you, with you and Nicole and the other actors on this show, obviously you guys
Workers. Act.
obviously you have a very
Oh, he's wound
strong
up.
connection on the screen. What are some of the ways that you guys like hang out and work together off the screen? That way y'all can connect like that on screen. Do you have any certain like ways to hang out or?
We actually, Nicole and I particularly, don't have an awful lot of time off. And what time off we do have is desperately trying to learn the 9 pages of occasional nonsense for the next day. But we'd go out and have dinner. A lot of the other guys, we're all kind of living near each other around here, so we hang out a lot. I've spent more time with Nicole over the last 3 years than anyone else. Than my mum. I should text her again.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Hello, my name is Eric, and just ignore this. My question is to both Ichabod and super sexy Jesus.
Oh, I've been upgraded.
Oh, it's Corey. Hey, Corey.
Did you hear what they called me? Nothing. Everybody, this is Nicole Behari. And to the other side is Corey Castellano, who designs and makes every monster that we've ever had on the show.
Without him, we would have nothing to run from, basically.
Could you guys move?
Well, this is fantastic. I can ask this question to all of you then.
Oh, you're still here?
Yes. Surprisingly so. What demon or monster would you have liked to have seen on the show that you fought? That you would like to fight?
I'd like to start. What demon or monster?
Would we like to add a new one? I'm partial to like water things. I'm pushing it, and I was telling him earlier. I really want to do some sort of mermaid acting. So any monster that involves deep sea diving or Abby transforming into some sort of mer person would really help, Corey, actually.
I've always wanted to do a sea creature or a sea monster kind of thing, so who knows?
Nice.
Put it out there.
Yeah, I'll go with a mermaid. I'll do that as well.
Super hot Jesus mermaid.
You missed that part.
It's going to keep getting worse as the panel goes along. It's adding names to it.
Hello, thank you guys for being here. I'm really excited that you just got here, Nicole. Okay, so my question is, my favorite... You're okay too? My favorite thing about Sleepy Hollow is that Ichabod is like constantly complaining about 21st century things like, why do you pay for water? What is this travesty? And I wanted to know what was like your favorite things that like are kind of like funny 21st century like quirks because he's like 300 years old.
I like the water. I like the water a lot. I think it's a very good point as well. It's valid. And then there are, and the tax thing.
Yeah.
The tax thing, I don't think any of us can argue with that. And so we'll all take to the streets shortly.
Please don't say that. We're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Your energy is
policeman
really
outside right now, waiting for us.
Okay, thank you.
That long. How are you?
Hi, good, how are
I'm
you?
a little bit nervous. So I have a question. We all want to know, when is the romantic gestures between you two are going to appear next season?
Me and Corey.
10
When
minutes.
are we going to become romantically entangled? I think
These two?
You two.
You be very careful how you answer that. I really love, and I loved from the moment